Okay, this is Nicole Whitlock with eCom Sellers, and this is our print on demand challenge. We are day 23, and I am so excited that everyone is here. So, I know we have, since today is Thursday, if you are working towards the stretch goal, you're putting up 7 um, downloadable, printable designs and or products this week. And if you are just working on doing the minimum this week, we're doing 5 printable or 5 printable designs at a minimum or downloadable designs. And the goal is in the designs that you create this week, because we did have a chance to talk about a couple of the different tools. Hold on. I don't know why some people can't come in. So we're just going to fix that. I'm still trying to figure out from Google how to fix that problem. But anyway, so if the goal of this week is for you to actually take your existing designs, because in stage 1 was just getting acclimated with the tools. We were in stage 1 for 2 weeks. We're going to be in stage 2 for 2 weeks. We're going to be in stage 3 for 2 weeks, and then stage 4. So in stage 1, we worked on the printable and downloadable designs. Very simple, very basic, nothing complex, nothing hard, nothing difficult. And the objective in stage 1 was, of course, to get you comfortable with using Canva and comfortable with using, with actually starting the process of creating your Etsy listings. Those were the 2 things that we focused on. In stage 2, we are still continuing our getting comfortable and familiar with Canva, and we're going to begin the process of actually superimposing our amazing designs or simple designs onto some products. So starting the process of getting familiar with some of the platforms that are available to us. So yesterday we talked about some of the tools that we could use. I think it's up here. Yeah. So yesterday we went through some of the tools. We talked about the cost of the tools. We talked about the features and the functionality of the tools. And in going through the tools list, I pointed out that Canva is actually the most economical out of all of them. And so from a cost standpoint, there's a lot of stuff that you can do with the Canva tool. You can create products, and you may need other tools as we go along this journey, as we get into the KDP side and printing low content books, or if if you decide you're going to build a recipe book or whatever that is, you may need Adobe, which is what we use to create the larger file for our planners. So Adobe, you don't have to get Adobe Spark, you can just get Adobe. But Adobe Spark is a great tool for creating designs, and you can sign up for, I think we looked at Adobe, but I don't think we looked at Adobe Spark. So let me double check what the price is for Adobe Spark, because it might be terribly affordable. Okay. Is Adobe Spark free? Is this old? So you can try it for free. And how much is it? It must be included in a package. Probably is. So if it's included in a package, you can't get Adobe Spark by itself. I think a long time ago it was by itself, and you could get it $9.99 for Adobe Spark. So that's very similar to some of the other products that we looked at yesterday, where some of them were $9.99 a month, some were $12.99 a month, some of them were a little bit more. But from a cost standpoint, like most all of them allow you to start with a free account. So Canva, we start our free account, and then you can upgrade to the paid for $6.49 if you choose to. So with looking at all that and deciding what your long game is, and we kind of talked about what is our strategy. We talked about it in session 3 and session 4. Then we talked about it a lot last week as we began the process of building out our schedule. And so I'm hoping by the end of this week, you have finalized or solidified your schedule, and you have begun the process of building out your strategy and your approach for your long game, so that you can make print on demand something that you will do long term, something that's sustainable for you, and something you plan on continuing long term. So if you are a person that needs to go back and revisit, what's your base idea and what's your base product, and that doesn't mean that you can't do the other stuff too, which is We talked about using the example of every day is a holiday, which is a great, great way to get going very quickly and coming up with products that you can use very quickly. So let me get this. I've been working on 9,000 other things. So let me just get this down to size. I think every day is a holiday is next. Using the strategy of using the every day is a holiday calendar to create the designs that you put on the platform and something that's sustainable, adding 1 hour a day to create the simple, what I call low-hanging fruit designs that you can superimpose on anything from a coffee mug to a t-shirt to a pair of socks to a phone case cover or sleeves or whatever. The every day is a holiday. So if you want to add that extra hour so that you can still build out your base product, which is the product we originally started with, and what it's going to look like long term, and then also add the every day is a holiday, just add in that 1 hour. So make sure you have your schedule done. And if you don't have your schedule done, please, please, please schedule some time with me. I missed Teresa today because my son was sick, so I'm sorry about that. But I will make sure that I can help you with building out your schedule and your long game so that way you do have a business that is sustainable when the summer is over. And we are only a few days from the end, 7 days from the end of June, which means we're at the halfway mark for the year. So then we'll have 31 days in July. Let me just say now, we will not be meeting on the 4th of July. So I just want everybody to know that we're not meeting on the 4th of July. I think that's the only day that we're not meeting. Yeah, we're not meeting on the 4th of July, but all the other days we will be meeting. And if you can't make it, don't stress about it. We will have a longer session on the 30th, and we will have a longer session on the 60th. So just putting that out there. The 61st day, because July goes to the 31st. All right. So is there anyone that needs to, like, let's get your time. Do you need to schedule some time so I can make sure that I have time slots available to be able to knock that out? Is there anyone that needs to schedule some time with me that hasn't already done so?
Nicole, hi, this is Anissa.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm all right.
So I just started the program a couple of days ago,
Okay,
and I'm not very creative,
that's
but
okay.
what I did do is I did schedule a time on Sunday
Awesome.
um with you. I think it's at 4 p.m.
Okay.
4 o'clock. Yeah. So but I haven't gotten a confirmation with the link.
Okay. I will
Mhm.
make sure that my VA, I'm going to check with my VA because she kind of confirms the schedules. So I will definitely make sure that we are going to meet on Sunday.
Okay.
As long as my son is not sick, we're going to meet on Sunday.
Okay.
He's my only exception to the rule because we are going through unfortunately, some seizures right now. And so he's like my wild card a little bit because of that. So, but yeah.
Well, I totally understand. I get it. The other thing is, I had a question about the PDF. So when I go into the back office and because
Uh-huh.
I started looking at videos from day 1 and day 2 and day 3, I
Uh-huh.
didn't see any of the PDFs that you had referenced that would be in the back office.
The hyperlinks. Yeah. So let me go ahead and make a note that if she hasn't put those in there, uh, I know that I've seen that Lyria was in it. Lyria is one of my VAs, and I have another one, and her name is Cornema. So
Mhm.
let me just make sure that they are putting the links from our early classes into the back office, so you'll have them, and then everyone else can reference them. I think what I did was I may have emailed them out to everybody at the beginning, and they were going to be added to the back office. So
Okay.
I'll go find those emails and forward them to you, like the first 5 classes or something like that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
We'll do that. All right. So if you need to schedule some time, you don't want to talk about it right now, you can send me a message so that we can meet and make this work. Now, I do have the 29th. I'm just going to go ahead and say it right now. The 29th, I may have to pre-record the 29th because depending on what happens with my son or not happens with my son, that's when we head off to the special needs retreat and camp. So I may have to pre-record that and send you all the link, and then I'll be back online on the 30th, just in case. They have pulled me into something because there's a whole arrival process for all the families that have special needs kids. So I told them I needed to not be part of that, but we'll see what happens. This is our 8th year, so I don't know. We'll see. So that's the only one. Just make a note, 29th. That may be the only day where I have to pre-record. Okay, so we're going to look at Adobe, and I don't think I played with Adobe Spark. I've used other aspects of Adobe. So when I log into my Adobe back office, I have way more than I probably need, but when you buy the bundle for Adobe, if you are a person that's planning on creating low content books, recipe books, coloring books, reading books, planners, any of that kind of stuff, I will tell you that it will be worth it, and not at this time, but it'll be worth it when you're ready to build those out, that you get an Adobe account. And the reason you need an Adobe account is because Canva will only let you put together, as I mentioned before, up to 100 pages. And so your design may live in two different projects or 3 different projects. Right now, our planner, the main planner, lives in 3 different projects. And we use Adobe to consolidate them into one project. And there are other free software that's out there in the universe that you can use to consolidate. But I found sometimes, not all the time, with using some of the free software, they include extra features that you don't want. And what I mean by that is, they may have their own little spyware, whatever, that's being downloaded when you upload your files, and then you re-download it down because they'll consolidate it for you. And you'll get some extra stuff that you're not expecting on your computer. So I just want to encourage you, if you're going to put this into your budget, we've got Canva at $649 if you're going to pay that. You've got your if you've already set up your Etsy account, you attach the bank account to that. So you're going to have the monthly, your renewals for your listings as you continue to go on, and you'll have that expense. And the great thing is that if your listings aren't live, like you can put them in draft and just let them sit there as you try to fine tune them, tweak them, fix them, whatever. And then you have your fees if you're going to sign up for Adobe. Now, Adobe is something that we will definitely, I'll show you how we use it to consolidate your products from once, if you're going to do books that have more than 100 pages, to consolidate those products down to one print on demand, down to one file, so you can upload it to your print on demand site that's going to do your printing, like Lulu or KDP or some of the others that will print books for you, like Zazzle and all these others, if you decide to do that. So the other thing is that you have Photoshop in here, and it looks like I have Photoshop mobile, so I don't have Photoshop for the desktop. So I don't know why, but I have Photoshop for the desktop. I don't know why. I mean, not for the desktop. So can't show you Photoshop. Nope, I can't. Yeah, Photoshop Express. So when you log into your back office for Adobe, it does not look anything like Canva, as you can clearly see. Looks nothing like it at all. And it does take a little bit of getting used to. The thing that I found that was most helpful is actually there's a boatload of Adobe videos out on YouTube that will help you to get more acclimated and more familiar with the tool as you continue to play with it, work with it, and everything. But the tools that I have for graphic design, I can come over here. I have Creative Cloud. And when I go into Creative Cloud, I don't want those. I want the ones that I already have. Download. I don't want to install anything because I have a license that has 2 seats, and both of my VAs are using those 2 seats right now. So if I install it, it's going to say, hey, this is already reserved at this computer. So do you want to, you're not going to let me get in at all to go look? Yeah, you're going to make me download. Okay. So since it's going to make me download, and I don't want to download, I will work with one of my VAs first to get them off of the account so I can go in and actually play with the tool and show you how to use it. I've used it a lot of times. We just kind of contact each other and say, hey, I need you to get out of the Adobe account, because they are, I will tell you this, they're very strict about licenses. So since I have a 2-seat license, anytime that there's a third person that tries to log in, it's going to stop us. So we have that problem all the time. We're prepared for it. So I did not think through that today, and I apologize. So we'll do Adobe another time so you can see it, and you'll be able to see what it can do for you. And again, you may not use it at this time. It may be 100% irrelevant for you. You may find that Canva is satisfactory for you. You may have no plans of building out a low content book at some later time, but it's not a cost you have to deal with right now. It'll be a cost you'll have to deal with at a later time. Then the other account that we have is PicMonkey. And I want to say, I know what the login ID and password is for that. It is, like I said, similar to Get My Magic Key. So I have to stop sharing for just a second. That's one of the things that's annoying, is they want to send you a magic key for everything. It's a little annoying. Okay. All right, log in. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, and let me show my screen. Let me move this. Sorry. Okay, PicMonkey. Share my screen. There we go. All right, so PicMonkey is the other tool that we have. And we, it again is nothing like nothing like Canva. It is fairly simple to use to create new designs, and these are templates, but we've created a lot of stuff for eCom sellers over the years for different things. We create all of our graphics for different things that we list whenever we have our summits and things like that. So we've got a lot of stuff that we use it for. And the tool itself, do I think it's easy to use? I do think it's easy to use. But again, if you're using more photos in your products, and yesterday we looked at some recipe templates, which were totally awesome. We were looking, I forget which tool it was we were looking at, but they had photos or images in it. If you have a lot of photographic images, PicMonkey is a great one. Photoshop is a great one, and for using those tools to be able to do your graphics. I'm not saying that Canva can't handle it. Canva can, but Canva does have a limited number of graphics that, a limited number of photos that are in its library. So these are the two that I definitely would recommend. And again, of course, you have access to the Shutterstock. That's the reason why it's a great tool to use. So the back office looks nothing like Canva, and that's the thing you'll have to get familiar with. So it's another tool that you want to put in your arsenal for learning if you are using a lot of photos, if you have a lot of photos in whatever it is you're going to be selling. So with that being said, let me go ahead and we're going to move through some of the print on demand basics. Now, we've talked about some of these before. We're going to begin the process of getting you mentally prepared for establishing some accounts on some supplier platforms. We're going to do roughly about 3 a day. So we'll do 3 today, 3 tomorrow, 3 Saturday, and probably 3 Sunday. And that'll give us a good smattering of different types of print on demand suppliers. So we're going to do 3 reviews today, and then we'll hit 3 more tomorrow and talk about that. So I want you to be prepared for superimposing your product, your designs onto a product. So the first thing is that when you are at a place where you're ready to start doing print on demand for products, because your downloadables, your printables, you can do that with your own printer. You can order some Avery stock, or you can download the Avery form and then print it with the grids, with the black lines around it, so that you can make sure that your flashcards or whatever, your recipe cards or whatever it is you're selling that's a printable or downloadable will fit inside of the Avery form. So that one is straightforward, and so you don't have to order samples. You just need to be able to print it out and make sure it's within the guidelines, within the edges, within the trim. Whereas some of the products that you're going to potentially be selling that you want to make sure that they're good, they're quality, you probably want to order some samples. So for some, they may order samples of the t-shirts that they're making, especially if their t-shirt design is intricate, lots of colors, lots of whatever. Versus if it's just a white shirt with some black letters on it, that's pretty straightforward. You may just want to order a sample so that you can feel the the shirt to see, feel how thick it is, how thin it is, what the quality is, wash it a couple of times just to see, because you know that on this journey, returns and refunds then complaints are always going to be inevitable if you're a seller. That's just par for the course. So getting a sample of your stuff sent to you, one, will give you some insight into how long it takes for your supplier to fulfill your orders. I would make a note if I place an order in the morning, and if it's a morning on a weekday, I would make a note of how long it took for that to actually arrive to you. And most of the platforms are going to have a way for you to order a sample. Okay. So they'll have a way for you to get your own samples. And of course, you're going to have to pay for that. Samples are not free. The next one is to be strategic about your shipping. You can choose as we begin this journey, because downloadables and printables, you're not shipping anything to anybody. Okay. We've set it up so that when you create the Etsy listing, you're going to upload your file. And so when they buy, they automatically get a link to the downloadable product that they bought from you. So there's no shipping involved. Makes it great. Well, now you're about to step into the world of shipping, and shipping can be interesting at times, and shipping can be costly. And you need to decide whether or not you're going to start off with your print on demand product just shipping in the US, or if you're going to do print on demand and do some global shipping. And where are you going to do the global shipping? Are you going to explore the UK? Are you going to explore Canada? Are you going to explore Australia? Where are you going to explore? And those are things that you have to consider. Okay. The next one is the majority of the platforms that you are going to be looking at will have a way for you to do a mock-up. So we went through a mock-up exercise yesterday and the day before, where we actually went into Canva and I created that coffee mug with a giraffe on it and put some words on it. And it took me, I don't know, 10 minutes, no more than 10 minutes to actually do that. And so you could see what it's going to look like with your design superimposed onto a product. And that was a coffee mug. So that's a good one. There's other sites. I haven't included Placeit, but Placeit is another one if you want to get more example pictures to put into your listing. So we'll go over Placeit tomorrow, making a note now because we do have a Placeit account where you can superimpose your design onto different things, a t-shirt, a hat, or whatever, because you need multiple pictures in some cases to be able to create your Etsy design. Next, number 4 is finding a niche. So we have all talked about our niches. If you're new to the conversation, you maybe have not talked about your niche or figured out your niche, but I think we have a really good group of ideas that everyone is going after. And when you go back and listen to the previous recordings, you'll be able to hear them. But these are all fantastic ideas because there's enough space and then for all of us. There's enough money for all of us and there's enough space for all of us. So if you're sticking with your niche and you're going to grow that out and make that into your bigger brand and your bigger company LLC, that's fantastic. That doesn't mean that you can't have additional niches. And so that's the reason why I always say, like, go after the low-hanging fruit, because that can actually be like your peanut butter and jelly on your bread, so that way you can stack it up, make some extra money while selling the low-hanging fruit, because those may be quick wins. They may be quick products that you can put up. You just need to make sure you're making time for it. So that schedule's important. Number 5 is building an audience. So on your journey, as you continue to sell to customers on Etsy, or if you decide you're going to do a Shopify store, whatever you decide you're going to do, so there's no pressure there. You want to make sure that you're gathering the email addresses of the people that you're going to be selling to. Collecting those email addresses allows you the opportunity to market back to them. We're coming up on Prime Day. Prime Day is July the 12th and the 13th. And so that is a fantastic opportunity for you to offer a sale. People can see the sale in your store when they come to your store on Etsy. And you can put your listings on eBay. Just so you know, you can put your print-on-demand listings on eBay. You can put them on Facebook Marketplace. You can put them on Amazon. You can put them on Walmart. you can put print on demand designs, products on different platforms. Now, here's the deal. You don't have the ability directly on Amazon to collect the email addresses and the names. I mean, you could indirectly do that, but that's, you have to remember the terms of use on Amazon. Okay. On eBay, they are your customers. You can see that in your back office. So you have the ability to get some information about those people, and you can drive them to your specific store so you can have those email addresses. Same thing, Etsy, same thing, Facebook Market. Like, you have the ability in some places, depending on how you set it up, to be able to capture that email address and that name. The reason that that matters is now you can go back and you can market to them when you're going into Prime Day, when you're going into Black Friday, Cyber Monday. You have the opportunity to market to them. That is going to be a good thing, because then you can let them know about deals. So the quote goes, it is easier to sell to an existing customer than to sell to a new customer. Once they're your customer, getting them to buy from you again and again, if they got quality, if they got if the product that they like resonates with it, then they will be more apt to come to your store. They may make, multiple purchases in a year, or they may refer friends to you. So having the ability to capture their name and their email address, or having a tool, is helpful. We will go over next week a few of the, as we go through the branding exercises, we're going to go through next week some of the pre-marketing email marketing tools that are out there that you can pick up and sign up for. And when you have a small list, it's fine. They'll allow you to send to your customers. When your list gets over a certain threshold, they're going to charge you. So I would encourage you to be thinking about that, but you don't have to do anything with that today. Just be thinking about it. If print on demand is what you're wanting to use as your long game, you need to be thinking about that in the back of your mind. And when we come to it for branding and for marketing, we're going to take a deeper dive in that. We're going to look at some of the software. And then creating your own store. So we're creating our store on Etsy. We're using Etsy as our base. But again, you have the ability to list your products on other platforms. Just be mindful of how you redirect people back to you, and also be mindful of your social media presence, because you can do Facebook shops, you can do Instagram shops, you can put your listings on Pinterest. So having great pictures of your product using that mock-up feature is going to help you with your marketing. Figure out which one of the mock-up designs works for you as you look at each one of these platforms. Okay. So the first thing is we're going to talk about Printful. I guess I need to hide this. And Printful is probably the most well-known and probably the most used, and maybe, somewhat the most friendly or sort of intuitive of the platforms to use. We went to Printful. We actually went to several of them 3 days ago, a couple of them. We didn't log in. We just went to the site so I can show you what the product options are as we begin the process of thinking about our amazing products that we're going to superimpose onto whatever they have, or the amazing designs that we create, whatever they have available to them in there. So the great thing about some of the things about Printful is that they have a lot of integrations available. They have integrations for Etsy. They have integrations for Amazon. They have integrations for Shopify. They have a bunch of integrations available. And so that makes it easy if you want to list your things on multiple platforms and you want those integrations, you want to use those, that makes it easy for you. You have access to a lot of products. I will say that there's, a lot of the platforms you have access to a lot of products, but they do have a lot of products that you can choose from. So when we went to the site, we looked at the products drop down and we used that as our basis. Okay. Then, the mock-up generator, we previously talked about that. Most all the platforms are going to have that mock-up generator. Printing types to choose from, user-friendly design. So the thing is that you're going to have to start getting used to using files that are PNG files when you download them from Canva. And I went through that exercise, and we can go through it again to make sure everybody knows how to download with as a PNG file. That's what you're going to upload to a lot of these platforms, or SVG file. Okay. So you can get a 20% discount on sample orders. And so I mentioned before, most of the platforms have a way for you to order a sample just so you can see what it's going to look like. And I would encourage you, again, if you're doing something with intricate colors and stuff like that, and that you actually do print it, or at least have it shipped to you. And there's no monthly membership. So the cons are, I mean, all the platforms, cost is going to be a thing for all the platforms. Okay. And the shipping settings might get a little interesting. But outside of that, Printful is a great platform for new sellers, experienced sellers, and it's very flexible. And again, the mock-up generator is helpful to use. So if you think, you want to play with Printful, we're going to go through next week, and we're going to start creating our accounts to get ready to move into the second half of stage 2, which is putting our products onto something, or putting our designs onto a product. So the next one is Printify. Printify is also well known. They have a lot of global vendors. So if you decide you're going to have your products available to be purchased in the UK, Australia, Canada, I don't know, Singapore, or wherever, they have a lot of global vendors. What that means is that people can order from your site, and then it would be printed locally where they are, or at least in their region. So when I say region, like somewhere in the United States, if you're selling in the US, somewhere in the UK, because they're not all, like we have multiple states, so they have multiple countries within countries and cities. It's a lot, but you have a lot of global opportunity there. And so Printify may be it for you if you decide you want to expand your reach. And that's a good thing for those people that are, once you get into print on demand, is, if something works, I'm not going to say everything works in the US. There might be something that resonates in another country that doesn't resonate here in the US. But just having the ability to have those products visible to your customers because you choose a global setting is always a good thing. So different printing options. If you're selling, they have a lot of products that you can choose from. They do have good customer service, so does Printful. They're great if you're going to do wholesale selling, and which I guess is sort of semi-subjective, because let me back up for just a second. The one thing about all these companies that I am talking about, regardless of if we're talking about it today, tomorrow, the next day, is that all of these companies have found suppliers that will do the work. So their system, Printify, Printful, Redbubble, Teespring, all of them, is a front end to a network of printers on the back end. Okay. So you're really using the service and the website of Printify, but somebody else is fulfilling the order. It is not Printify that is fulfilling the order. It is whoever they have contracted out or have an agreement with. They send the order over to them, they print it, they ship it to you, or they ship it to whoever. So it's not Printify that's doing the work. It's not Printful that's doing the work. It is their network of printers. And the irony is that they probably are using and sharing some of the same network of printers. So the fees that you see on top of this, the cost, it varies because of the service that's on the front end. What are the things that Printify is doing for you as the seller and simplifying for you as the seller? What are the things that Printful is doing and simplifying for you as the seller, and so on and so forth. So again, the majority of them, not all, but the majority of them is like a network of printers on the back end. So if you think of it like Amazon has the capacity to do a lot of stuff, but they also allow individual sellers like myself to sell products on their platform. So when people go to Amazon, they think that they're buying directly from Amazon, when in reality, they may actually be buying from an individual seller like myself. So indirectly, that's sort of what's happening on the back end for a lot of the print on demand services that you see, just so you know. I don't know if you knew that. Maybe you guys did. I don't know. Okay. So they have access to shipping worldwide, which is great. And you can use their software for free, and you'll be paying for the shipping and fulfillment cost. And all of them, you're definitely going to be paying for the shipping. Okay. And some of them have fixed rates on the shipping, and that's great. Well, most of them do. They have fixed rates on the shipping. So, and then the fulfillment costs. The fulfillment costs in some platforms, they'll call it a service fee. Some of them will call it something else. So it just depends. So the cons. So with Printify, you have to figure out how to make your brand stand out. That's probably going to be a challenge for anybody, regardless. And some vendors are not very reliable. And that's what I was saying before. Same thing with Printful. Like there's going to be some quality challenges with all of them because, if you send an order, you could get an amazing shirt that was shipped to someone in Spain and they got an amazing looking shirt. The quality was fantastic. And then someone else in Australia or somebody in the US and Florida orders the same shirt. And it's like, oh my God, this thing faded and it was crappy. Well, it's a different vendor on the back end. So there's some aspects of this that you have to embrace the fact that you may have minimal control over. You can engage Printify and Printful and all those other platforms about the issue and the concern if your customer comes back with complaints, but I just want you to be aware of that. So again, your sample that you get, it is, I won't say subjective, but it may not be representative of what the quality will look like around the US or around the world. But you'll definitely, you'll get your sample and you'll be able to look at it. And most of them do have guidelines that they have to follow based on whatever the contractual agreement is with the platform. So if the vendor is not printing well or whatever, they may not be used anymore by Printify or Printful or any of these other platforms. So just be aware of that. Okay. So if you want to do global, they are great because they will, they handle global shipping. So the next one is Redbubble. So if you're a person who likes to create designs, you have an artistic streak in you, Redbubble is a great one to consider. So they have customization options to sell whatever you like. They also have a marketplace. So you can create your design and just list it on their marketplace if you don't want to continue working in your Etsy store. Now you have to be mindful of what that cost is of doing that. So that's one of those things that you have to be aware of. So you can be a little more creative and sell the things that you make. They do, again, have good quality with the asterisks. But again, sometimes the print quality can be an issue. So this is where I will say, if you're doing something more intricate, yeah, Redbubble is probably your jam. If you buy something from Creative Markets, which is one we looked at yesterday, and you decide you're going to list it on Redbubble, might be perfect the first 7 times it's printed. But if someone is printing it from a different vendor, that vendor is really not that good, then quality might be bad, the colors might be bleeding into something, and that's one of your challenges you have to deal with. So you just need to be mindful of sometimes you don't have control over quality. And so you need to figure out what your customer service game is going to be long term. And we will talk about customer service, but you need to be prepared for what you have to do as a seller to combat some of the potential quality issues. The other thing is that you also can't control the shipping. So the shipping is going to be whatever the shipping is going to be, meaning the timing. Sometimes it takes some suppliers a little bit longer to fulfill the order or to print the order than others. And that can also deter people. So if you place an order, again, monitoring the time, you place it on a Monday and you don't receive that order for 2 weeks, the following Friday or following Saturday, that may be one that you're going, I don't know if this is going to work for me. Is there anything that you can contact the platform? Say, is there anything you can do to expedite the printing of this? Because 14 days, 13 days, 12 days is too long for a customer to be receiving it. So when you can see that it's going to take, 7 days, 6 days, that's probably a little more acceptable. 4 days, whatever, from a fulfilling the order, creating the design, printing the design onto whatever the thing is, and then shipping it off to the customer. And that's all the processing time, handling time, processing time, all of that. What does that look like? And that's when you want to make a note today to start paying attention to as you begin the process of considering working with any of these platforms. Okay. So I hope that information is helpful. We ran over time. I'm sorry. But I hope it's helpful. It kind of gives you a little insight. We'll look at 3 more tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll be able to get into my Adobe account. Not that it's going to be anything fancy or exciting. I just want you to know it doesn't look anything like Canva. Canva is one of the most intuitive and easier to use tools that's out there compared to any of the others. I'm just going to tell you. All right. So what questions do you have for me that I can answer? All right. Well, I hope this was helpful. And then we will see you tomorrow. And I'm going to, Teresa, we're going to jump on that link that I already had for you. We're going to go back on that link.
Oh, back? Okay.
Yep. All right. So feel free to reach out to me if you guys want to schedule some time, and let's make this the thing that we use to make all of our money, because it's doable. You just got to do the work.
Nicole,
right.
I just have one question.
Yes.
What's the easiest way to get in contact with you?
The easiest way to get in contact with me, you can send me a message in Messenger. You can send me an email. I mean, you can send an email to eCom Sellers. I think that you sent an email from our website.
I did.
Okay. I just forwarded. I logged into. Okay, so it goes somewhere else, and I forwarded it to the business account. But yeah, I was like, why is this going over here? And then I opened it up. I was like, oh, there's a real message in here. So yeah, sorry. We have a Weebly account that I established like 10 years ago.
Okay.
So it's really going to an ancient email account. But in any case, yeah, I did get that email. I just happened to log in yesterday, and I was like, what? So yeah, you can send an email to ecomsellersmastery@gmail.com. If you want to get in contact with me, you can also send me a message on Messenger. I just ask for a little bit of grace and mercy, because I do get about 20 to 30 messages a day, maybe more. So if I don't get back with you immediately, it's not because I'm ignoring you. It may be because I'm multitasking, I'm working with one of my VAs, or I'm dealing with my kids, or I'm trying to respond to everybody. So I apologize.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. I hope this was helpful to everybody. We all have our game plan. And with that, I'm going to say goodbye for now. We'll see you tomorrow.